healthy gut means having the optimal amount of microbacteria that can effectively strengthen your immune system and heart health, absorb the nutrients from your food, regulate blood sugar, and of course, result in glowy skin and a better mood too. Did you know that gut health affects literally everything in your body? Studies in the past 2 decades have demonstrated links between gut health and your weight, immune system, mood, mental health, autoimmune diseases, endocrine disorders, skin conditions, and cancer. The term gut microbiome refers specifically to the microorganisms living in your intestines. A person has about 300 to 500 different species of bacteria in their digestive tract. The microbiome contains both good bacteria and bad bacteria known as gut flora. The good bacteria feed on fiber in our diets, while the bad bacteria feed on elements in simple sugars and processed foods. Our body has an important symbiotic relationship with our microbiome. These microbes live inside us, and in turn, they help us digest our food and then produce other compounds that our body can use for better health. It is in our guts that we build the foundation of our health. In the human gut, there are meant to be thousands of varieties of bacteria, which is once biodiversity. It's these multiple strains of good bacteria that helps the gut break down food for absorption by the body. Better the absorption, better our nutrition, better our health. It's also this bacteria that helps fight off infection and inflammation. Now, with poor nutrition, bad diets, unhealthy food and lifestyle, and also the antibiotics we take to fix our health, and pollution and toxins, we have reduced the food bacteria in our guts. In fact, the incredible complexity of the gut and its importance to our overall health is a topic of increasing research in the medical community. Today on this very special show, we are going to talk about how gut health impacts our own health. Joining us on the NDTV Detol Banega Swasth India campaign special show, we have with us today Taapsee Pannu, actor, and we have Munmun Ganeriwal. She's a nutritionist and a gut microbiome specialist. In fact, she combines traditional Indian foods, ancient Indian yogic practices, and Ayurveda principles with gut microbiota study. You've also recently written a book, Yuktahaar, The Belly and the Brain Diet. Thank you so much, Taapsee and Munmun, for joining us on this very interesting conversation. Taapsee, I would like to start with you here. Whenever we talk about a great body, we often talk about things that we are not supposed to eat. How important is inclusion of all kinds of food rather than actually depriving ourselves from eating something? What role does a good diet play in building a healthy body?
See, for me, a good diet not just means that helps your body and supports the well-being of your body. It also means a diet that can be sustained for a longer period of time, that you are not bending backwards and forcing yourself and really killing yourself every day to achieve. So the whole myth of depriving yourself of things cannot really go on for a very long time, I feel. It can't just, you can't just have very, very limited amount of food or the kind of food that you can have for and do it for years. It's just practically impossible. I'm not seeing anyone who's been happily following it. And if you're not really happy eating, I really don't know how that food is going to help your body and mind. So because the mind is equally important, gut health actually helps you have a better mental health as well. I thankfully got introduced to Munmun, who helped me strike right balance, did not make me give up on any kind of food that I love eating. Any kind, when I mean any kind, is any kind. And that actually kept me happy from the inside and outside as well. And don't believe in having cravings. So it's been going fine for me because I'm not depriving myself.
Munmun, you've been working on health, and nutrition for nearly 2 decades. How would you define health or actually being truly healthy?
Being truly healthy is not about being a certain body weight or a certain shape or a certain size. It is not even the absence of diseases as most people believe. The thing is that, we have restricted good health to the physical aspect. But what we need to rather focus on is that the physical, the physiological, and the psychological, all these life forces have to be in an equilibrium. When there is a balance between all these 3 aspects, only then we can, say that we are in a state of good health. For instance, let's take an example of somebody who's in great shape and perfect body weight as per the person's height and so on and so forth. But what is the use if the person cannot wake up fresh in the morning, or the person is not feeling happy with the work that he's doing? There's no cheerfulness or exuberance in life in general. So would you be able to say that the person is truly healthy? I don't think so.
Yeah, actually, you've really explained that well, Munmun. Taapsee, I wanted to ask you, of course, you've been following Munmun's philosophy for over 4 years now. How did you start your journey with Munmun, and how different is her approach to weight loss?
Very different, because when I reached out to her, actually, I got a very cute hamper once at home, which had this Vedic ghee, kokum, sharbat, and 3-4 very natural, basic things that we find. And usually, being a celebrity, we keep getting these hampers for trial from various people of different brands. So I saw all that, and I consumed it pretty quick. And I reached out to her number on that hamper, asking, I want more of this. I'm liking this stuff that you've sent me. So she's like, no, I don't make all this. I am a nutritionist who recommends these kind of things in the diet. So hence I started my journey with Munmun, and there the problem was I inherit a very bad metabolism, due to the genes that I have from my parents. When people looking at me think, oh yeah, you look like this because you can, and I eat everything, and people see me eating everything. So they're like, you must be like really burning it out well. I said, no, I have to work harder in the gym. I actually have to work double to burn all that I'm eating, because my metabolism is not that good. And because just to avoid that extra hard work, I have to cut down on things like gluten and lactose from my diet, which I feel, didn't suit me, caused a lot of bloating, a lot of water retention, just didn't made me feel very acidic from inside, because I just felt it's never digesting. It's just lying there in my body because of my slow metabolism.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Sardani, born and brought up with paratha and dahi as my staple diet. And I had to give up all that because it just didn't used to digest in my body. And of course, I didn't like it. I felt deprived of it, which was obviously not a good feeling. And within that 1 year, when my body healed, today, even when I'm on my toughest of diet plans, parathas are a part of my diet. My atta might change. It might be a jawar atta or a wheat atta now. I eat wheat atta now. I have dahi, lassi. These have become like staples in my diet plan now.
Taapsee, you've played a scientist, a lawyer, a hockey player, a sharpshooter, and so many other powerful roles in your career. If I ask you specifically about Rashmi Rocket, to get an athletic body is not easy. It's very challenging. How has this way of living, the traditional foods, yogic living, helped you bring alive your characters on screen?
It was a transformation for life, I will say, not just for this film. I'll say my lifestyle has changed totally. My body has changed upside down. I have never experienced myself so fit from inside. What I did in that 1 year, I was prepping up and shooting for Rashmi Rocket. I've never felt so strong from the inside how I felt in the last 1 year when I was prepping up for it. And one thing very interesting, what me, Munmun, and my trainers sat down together was like, we will not take anything that's not natural. It might leave me with lesser results than what we expect out of me when I come on screen as a sprinter. I need to have certain kind of muscles. I might not achieve it 100%, but I will not go the shortcut way. We only have 3 to 4 months to prepare for this, but no shortcut, because then I have a life beyond one film. So, but the good part was because I was not taking anything that was chemical, I was mentally also there, being able to give my 100%. I wasn't deprived of things. None of my meals had no carb disclaimer of any sort. From my breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything had carbs. So I had carbs in every meal, which was very shocking for everyone to see on set, because I was having dal bati churma, because of the kind of meals that she had put me on and the kind of workout routine I was on. My body's metabolism became so high that it was digesting a lot of things that people thought it's just difficult to digest.
Munmun, first of all, congratulations on your book, Yuktahaar, The Belly and Brain Diet. To start with the basics, tell us about gut microbiome. How does it affect our body? Just the basics, because a lot of us don't know about this.
So what is the gut microbiome? It's the collection of the trillions of microbes that live inside our gut. And we, the body, basically, we are the host, and they are our resident guests, so to speak. And they actually, dictate our metabolism. They strengthen our immunity. In a way, we are sharing a very mutually rewarding relationship, because we give them a place to live. We give them food to eat, because what we eat is what they eat. And so we give them food, we give them a place to live, and in turn, they help us with our health. If they feel that they are nourished, if they feel that they are looked after, then they will, look after our body weight. They will look after our mood, the way we feel, the way we think.
Munmun, tell us that gut balance also has a profound effect on the brain. In fact, I was reading somewhere that more than 90% of the serotonin, the hormone that makes us feel happy, is produced in the gut. Tell us the connection, between gut health and brain health.
Here is the book. So in the book that I have written, I have explained not one, but 3 ways in which the gut health is connected to the brain health. So serotonin aspect, which you just spoke, it's just one of those 3. But there are many other ways in which, it's just scientifically established that there's such a strong connect, that the gut is actually called the second brain. We are still forgetting that physiology can drive psychology. In public consciousness, depression, etc., is still treated exclusively as a mental health disorder. Whereas any other symptom, like say an acidity, is regarded as a sole digestive health problem. Whereas in reality, depression can be the result of an unhappy gut, and acidity can have links with the kind of stresses a person is facing day to day. The stresses a person faces can give acidity to the person.
But most importantly, Munmun and Taapsee, what we really need to do is spread awareness about this, the connection. Taapsee, like Munmun just explained us this whole connect. We've understood that physical, mental and emotional health are all key for us, and they're interdependent. Mental health, of course, is a huge challenge, and COVID is just making it tougher. What are your thoughts on that, Taapsee?
I feel if you're happy from inside, you're yourself happy mentally, it will reflect on your outside, and then it will not really matter how you fit in that template Instagram picture or template visual of the way you look. I've never been the thin, petite, size 0, or that really small framed person. And I really struggled in the beginning, thinking that I should become one, and I really starved at times, and really worked hard in extreme situations where I could damage my body, hoping that I should look like that, which used to affect me mentally. Because if you're not reaching that stage, if you're not reaching that goal that you've set yourself, it's going to affect you mentally, and you're going to keep yourself away from all the cravings and the things that you really like, which is going to impact you mentally even more. So all this is so interrelated that I feel that if you're feeling fit and healthy from inside, is going to reflect in the way you're going to be from the outside. So gut health really affects your mental health directly.
So on that note, we're going to be taking a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are in an interesting conversation with Taapsee Pannu and Munmun Ganeriwal. Munmun, I would like to start with you here. Today, there is more knowledge about health than ever before. So many things, new diets, whether it's gluten-free, dairy-free, fat-free. There's a lot of confusion on diets, what to eat, what not to eat. The book also talks about the myths. So could you share some of those with us, which might help our viewers?
So I have tried to cover a lot of these myths in the book. One of them is the high protein and the low carb diet. So anybody who's wanting to have a good body, anybody who's wanting to have a good athletic physique or a tight toned body feels that this is the go-to diet. So this is one of the myths that I've addressed in the book. Then the other myth is where people feel that going vegan is the only way that we can save the planet. So that is another myth that I've addressed. So I have completely nothing against people who are going vegan. To each his own, I say. But then, if you are going vegan thinking that, I care for the animal life and this is going to change the face of the planet, then that is something that you're thinking wrong. I've also spoken about intermittent fasting, where people, a lot of people and experts, so-called experts come and say that intermittent fasting is the ancient way and our ancestors have always used. fasting as a way to detox and cleanse the body. Again, there is no scientific fact.
So that's interesting. Taapsee, you yourself have written the foreword for the book. How do you think it may help others getting an insight on healthy eating and improving gut health?
See, your food should be proportional, or the kind of food you're eating should be proportional to the kind of place you are living. You're living in the tropical zone or the temperate zone or a colder region. Your body is going to react accordingly what you've been grown up eating. So you can't just suddenly switch your diet to drastically something that you've never had in your life and feel, okay, now my body is going to react well to it. You will never know because your body is never used to that kind of food. And I really want to tell everyone, please don't hate carbs. Please, they are very important for your energy, mental energy and physical energy. Have the right kind of carbs, the ones that are available fresh in the area you are staying in. Just because it's too local doesn't mean it's too below your standard to have. Suddenly, when America will approve of ghee, we will call ghee a superfood. But before that, we kept saying roti without a ghee. We should not have ghee with roti. But suddenly now America makes it a superfood. So now we want to put ghee in our coffee also now.
Yeah, it's the haldi doodh, right? The turmeric latte.
Yeah, turmeric latte.
Yeah,
Suddenly, haldi doodh has become turmeric. So only why do we seek validation from abroad when we have such good science in our country? The kind of food that's grown here. So just embrace and accept the local homegrown stuff, because that's what your body is made to consume.
Munmun, I was going through the book, food, exercise, sleep and neural retraining is what you've spoken about. We do know the first three. Can you tell us a little bit about neural retraining?
So neural retraining is no rocket science. It's simply rewiring of the brain so as to, break the old patterns of thought process, and so that the person can choose to actually respond differently to a situation. You can give a damn good diet plan to a person. You can give a fantastic exercise routine. You can tell all the sleep hygiene tips to a person. But if the person has lost his peace of mind, if the person is anxious, frustrated, or just not feeling good about himself, that person is not going to wake up in the morning and follow the fitness routine, or is not going to stick to the diet routine.
Taapsee, tell us, for a screen role as a celebrity, how challenging is it to lose or even put on those extra pounds?
That's a very tricky question, because I am not very sure if I'm prepared to put on weight and drastic amount of weight for a film. Little bit I can understand, but drastic amounts I'm not very sure, because after a certain age, your body, the ways in which obesity affects your body is going to be different. It's not in your teenagers or early 20s where even if you get obese and in a year or two you can get back to a good healthy functioning body. Obesity affects you in a different way with rising age. So I'm not very sure if I'm ready to get obese for a role, because that will really damage my body for long term and will not give me my body back. I've seen a lot of co-actors of mine who have done that, and obviously, I mean, they've taken up the challenge and they did it quite well. But the kind of problems that they tell me, like Bhumi put on weight, and I know I've spoken to her what her body went through. Pratik Gandhi, I'm working with him right now. He put on weight for scam. So the kind of repercussions it has on your body are irreversible.
Munmun, you were telling us, when Taapsee has been saying that, she has not left her carbs. But we often hear that one follows a diligent routine, a diet, perfect timing, exercise, but the weight loss just doesn't happen. Why is that so? Because a lot of people struggle with that. And you've also written about the 3 R's in the book, which is right quantity, right quality, and right time. That's something Taapsee has spoken about. But if I ask you as an expert, what would your thoughts be on that?
So, Ambika, I would say these are 2 questions. If a person is really trying hard to lose weight and there is no change in the person's weight or body size or health status, then it can be because the person is having a lot of inflammatory molecules, there's a lot of inflammation, and therefore the person first needs to clear out the inflammation. Only then, whatever the person is eating, even if the person is trying hard with all the superfoods that he knows about, it's not going to benefit until and unless that inflammation is cleared out. So that is one part. The other part is about the 3 R's, which you rightly said is very, very important. Yes. the right quality, the right quantity, and the right timing. Good food is not about paying more money. It's not about going to an expensive fancy store and buying things, but it is just about selecting food which doesn't have any of these chemicals, which doesn't have any of these ultra processed ingredients. So these are the things that I was talking about in the book when we talk about right quality, that this is the right quality is not this, but the right quality is about eating food which is free of chemicals, and basically identifying. I think that is a very important point.
Yes, so you need to know what really works for you. So Taapsee, why don't you tell us what Munmun was just telling us? So we don't know what really is working for us. So how does one bridge the gap of knowing and doing something?
You know what Munmun did when she started working with me? She asked me to pen down my 3 days diet, what I have usually, which is, what under no dietary restrictions, what will I have for 3 days? And then she went through it and she made sure that she doesn't make a drastic change in things so that it's more doable. So it's more easily incorporated in your diet. So that is the key. When you know it, you know it. I have so many cousins of mine, being in the film industry, who are like, oh, you tell me now how to lose weight. But, this has been, I tell them, and then they don't really follow it. So then what's the point of me telling you when it's not even all I tell them is, please eat your food in time. Please don't overstuff yourself. Have 70% of your eating capacity for every meal. Eat after every 2 hours, and make sure your last meal is done max by 7 in the evening.
Munmun, just a last question on why are we seeing more illnesses around? Diseases that were rare till a few decades ago are common today.
We simply have more diseases. Like a 10-year-old today, you can see a 10-year-old with a gluten intolerance. You can see a 12-year-old with a mental health issue. So these are things that our grandparents would not have even heard of. Like these were things that even in like my parents have never heard of these things. They didn't even know what a gluten allergy is. So we are seeing new diseases. And the reason is simply because, the collection of microbes that I'm inheriting from my parents is much lesser today. And that is why we see more of these diseases today, which were never heard of before.
Okay, that's really well explained, Munmun. Taapsee, you too believe that a healthy gut is the foundation of good health. We've been talking about it. Coming to the immunity aspect, we know that our immunity system is what is maintained, keeps us healthy actually, let's put it that way. You have worked on your gut health for a few years now, from giving up dairy products to actually start eating everything. How did it work for you?
Since the time I've been taking care of my gut health, touch wood, so far I have not had COVID. I've traveled to a lot of countries since the time we had COVID in our lives. I've shot for some 6-7 films since the time I've had the COVID came into our lives. We've been maintaining our precautions and all. Almost everyone I know around has got COVID, but thankfully, I did not. So I think maybe a part of the credit goes to the fact that I have built good gut health lately in the last couple of years that helped me stay away from all this, and during these kind of tough times helped me sail through it mentally, not to get really anxious and have mental issues, mental imbalances to deal with the times that we are living in.
Thank you so much, Taapsee and Munmun, for joining us today in this very interesting and educative conversation. So a healthy gut means you have a stronger immune system, a better mood, effective digestion that's free of discomfort, and a healthy brain and heart. The gut plays a huge role in the health and well-being of our bodies. While much is still unknown about the microbiome, let us follow a healthy diet and lifestyle, because if it's good for you, it's definitely good for your gut.